Okay, so this is this particular Ameswood, that's one of the first printouts that teachers will get to let them know who's at risk, and it can also inform other things. Now, this is another printout they get. Remember those green lines I showed? 3 times a year? So, that's the fall, winter, spring. And this is reading, fluency. Remember how many words? So, we have this youngster here, and this is the average range for this grade level, and this line represents the dead average. So anyone whose blue dot falls in here, I'm pretty comfortable with. But if you're down here, that's the lowest 25 percentile. And up here is the highest 25. So in the beginning of the year, I was worried about Elwood because he was down here. But I'm an excellent teacher. And I differentiated my instruction, and I gave it a shot. But I let the educational student services team, I let them know I was up to this. Because they have to know what's happening. Because the principal has this data, and so I let them know that, Elwood's below where they want to be, but here's what I'm going to do. And then when January came, it worked. He was right in there. Now, if Elwood stays on track, where's he going to be in the fall, in the spring? Right up here, right on average.
So are you doing this at report card time, or are you doing this at the beginning of when it's in September?
I'm going to have to stop paying you, like people will think you're a plant.
Yeah.
One of the schools I visited in Iowa, you remember all those schools who said they were good? We had to go check them out to make sure they weren't fibbing. So one of the schools I visited in Iowa, the principal told me that they changed their report card reporting out time and their parent conferences to align with when these are administered so that they could share these during teacher conferences. Then, she said, we now have, she swears to this, 100% parent participation. And she attributed it to these kinds of graphs that show right where a youngster is. So, yes, those are printed out, and you can share with the parents to say, okay, here's where I was a little concerned. Remember, Mrs. Jones, I got in contact with you in September and told you that Elwood didn't do as well on that screening, and I gave you those materials to take home, and I did it at school. You did a great job, Mrs. Jones, because we both did. Look where Elwood is now. Let's keep it up so we can have Elwood up here. This is hugely powerful for families and us. Now, here's a little piece of information. This is a $63,000 question. Elwood's reading fluency is increasing dramatically. So we're happy with what's happening here. This is a measure of his comprehension. And unfortunately, it's squished because it's on the same metric as here. Obviously, you can't comprehend 92 words in a 3-minute passage. So, but where are those dots? Below. So now what do I have to do? Are we out of the woods with Elwood? No. Even though Elwood's reading fluency is increasing, it's increasing at the expense of what? Yeah. Or, I wouldn't say at the expense because it kind of stayed stable. He never really had the comprehension either. And that's not increasing. So now I have to kick in some explicit comprehension strategies to get that one going up as well too.